We're going to talk about putting your full team together. There are two ways to get your team members on here. One of them, you recruit people or you assign people. Sometimes there's that sort of water cooler assignment. You need people on your project team. Just walk down the hallway and grab who's ever standing around, looks like they're not doing much. Those people may or may not want to be on your team. They may or may not want to see a successful outcome to the project. It's always best to have people on the project team that want to see a successful outcome to this, that want to work on the team. So we ask people, this is the project we're working on. We need somebody out of this group to work on this project. Is there anyone in this group, because you have the expertise to do this part of the project we need, is there anybody in this group that would like to work on this project? And some people say, yes, we would like to work on that. So we choose from those people. You also have to work with their functional managers, because a lot of these people have bosses that's not you. Typically, as project managers, we don't have any direct authority over anybody on our project teams. All we have are our leadership skills to get people to do things. And we do have to work with their functional managers, because they're the ones that have to release them to work on our projects. We might have a kickoff meeting initially, where we bring everybody together to say, okay, this is the project we're going to work on. There's one group that does this on a regular basis. They typically have projects that last about 2 years in length, and they'll have somebody from the United States, somebody from Europe, they'll have somebody from Canada, and they'll have somebody from the Pacific Rim that will be on the project team. They typically get together only once during the project physically. They'll get together for a kickoff meeting for 2 days, someplace in the world, go over what's going on the project, how they're all going to work together, how they're going to communicate, how they're going to trade things off, hand things off to one another as they're moving through the project. And then they typically use video conferencing and a lot of telephone conferences along the way as well, but a lot of video conferencing. But they'll have a face-to-face kickoff meeting. And we can, just introduce all the team members, let them see each other, get to know each other, clarify the project, answer any questions along the way, any kind of work we need to do to get this project kicked off. We can do that up front. Now we're going to add resources. The best way to put resources on your project is by looking at three things that will come into play here. One is, can the person do this task? Will they do this task? And are they available during the time frame when we need this task done? So if we look at this project, we're going to do a little bit of work in our house. We're going to remodel the bathroom. And we've laid out all the tasks that we need to have done, and we've assigned people on here because these people, yes, can do this, and they've all said, yeah, we'd be happy to work on this project. But we got a little premature. We assigned them before we laid out our schedule, and all of a sudden when we look at it, we find, uh-oh, we double scheduled people in a few places. What we did with our project is scheduled everybody before we put the times together. We didn't lay out our schedule yet, and so we didn't really know when we needed people to do the tasks. Now we do, and we found out we have some problems. We created these problems ourselves. We found out now that all of a sudden we have the plumber scheduled in 2 places at the same time, Sue scheduled in 2 places at the same time, Kaz scheduled in 2 places at the same time. What we have to do when we have our project laid out and our resources assigned is we have to make sure we don't have these problems, and if we find them, then we just fix them. So find the problems and then fix them. Ideally, we don't have any of these, but when we do, which we will, we fix them, and there's a number of ways to do that. Plumber, for example. We're working with a plumbing contractor, and all they need to do is send over Nancy and Todd on the same day. They have a lot of plumbers that work there, whole group of plumbers. We just get 2 of them. Sue, we just say, well, Sue is really good at this custom shower tile design she's going to do for us. We really want her to do that, but anybody could hang up that medicine cabinet. Oh, Gus down the street isn't doing much these days. He's a good handyman. He can come down and do that. You just need another body. We talk to Kaz and say, hey, Kaz, could you just work a couple of 16-hour days for us? And Kaz says, nope. I only work 8-hour days. Don't work 16. Don't care what happens to your project. Oh, no. What are we going to do now? We want Kaz working on this because he's an excellent woodworker, and we don't want to get anybody else in here for that. We want Kaz to do all of this. So we just say, well, Kaz, we can just extend the completion date of the project. Get one part of it done, and then just work on the other part, and we'll just extend the completion date of the project. So fix these things any way you can. Find them and fix them. When we talk about putting people on the project, we're going to talk about who is going to do what, and there's a responsibility assignment matrix, an RAM, or a RACI chart. You typically hear this called a RACI chart. And this comes from the Project Management Institute. It has the person, and it has the activity, and then it has different kinds of things that people will do. Who's responsible for this? Who's accountable? Who do we have to consult? And who do we have to inform? And here's an example of one of these things filled out. So here are all the different activities. Here are all the people across the top. So our first activity, Sandra, she's going to be accountable for it. Todd is going to actually be responsible for it. Ramiro, we have to inform Ramiro about this. We inform Sue, and we inform Ed. The second one, Sandra gets informed. Todd is accountable. Ramiro is actually responsible for this. And we're going to have to consult Sue and Ed to get information from them so we can do this task properly. So the responsibility assignment matrix, often called a RACI chart. Who does what? How do different people get involved with different tasks? When you schedule yourself as a resource on the project, you're going to have changing roles. Sometimes you're going to be the project manager, and when you're actually doing one of the tasks, you're going to be one of those people that has a name on the task, and you will be a task doer. When you're doing a task that might be very comfortable, it's kind of nice and quiet and easy, doing this nice little thing here, nobody's running the project. It's all on its own. It's on autopilot. It's just roaring down the tracks all on its own, and you have to hope that the plan is really good and you've got it laid out well so that it can run by itself for a little while. You can work on a task. Just don't forget to peek your head up once in a while and see how that project is going. You have two different roles, and a lot of what you'll need to do is manage your time really well to do that.